Welcome to the Chichester College Group UCAS and Higher Education event. We're just going to give time for our participants to join, so we'll probably get started in a couple of minutes. So thank you for joining us this evening. So we've got a good number of people expected to join us this evening, so we'll just see when the numbers start tailing off and then we'll get started. So thank you for joining us this evening. This is the Chichester College Group's UCAS and the Higher Education event. So I think we're going to have an audience of students, parents and carers to this event. So hopefully you will all find it of use. Just some housekeeping items. You will see that the session will be recorded. And you will be sent a link to the recording after the event. So if you don't catch everything that's said, then you'll be able to pick that up afterwards. If you have any technical queries, please put this into the chat function, and any questions should be put into the Q&A section. And these will be answered by colleagues during the event, but also we will have a Q&A session at the end. So the numbers are still going up. We'll just give it a couple of minutes more. So it looks like numbers have tailed off now. So welcome to our event. My name is Carol Findon and I'm the Pastoral Support Manager for Crawley and Haywards-Heath Colleges. And I also have the job of overseeing the UCAS progress for both of these campuses. This evening, I'm joined by a team of staff that are experts in their field at supporting students to take their next step into higher education. Tonight, we'll be providing you with a great deal of advice and guidance that will help students to consider their next step and give parents and carers information to be able to support their young people to make very important decisions about their future. So there are over 395 higher education providers in the UK, which includes the Chichester College Group. So that will be referred to as CCG often during this session. And UCAS, the Universities and Colleges Admission Service, list over 50,000 undergraduate courses on their website. You will hear more about the higher education options within CCG later on in the presentation. So given this choice, the earlier we can get students to start considering where they may want to be in 2023, the better. That date can seem a long way off, but it really isn't. Tonight, you'll hear about the support and opportunities that are available at the college, the importance of research, and how the UCAS application process works, as well as an overview of student finance. This event is scheduled to run for about an hour, and we will complete the evening question and answer session. Firstly, I'm going to highlight to you the support that CCG offer for students moving into higher education. As a college group, we start thinking about our students' next step as soon as they arrive with us, not only through their qualifications, but also through developing their skills they need for moving on. In tutoring one-to-ones, they discuss their future options and they are signposted to the support that is available to them or set targets to develop their knowledge on progression steps. For moving into higher education, there is a wide range of fantastic support available. Progression Plus teams are available at all our colleges and are key in supporting and providing information, advice and guidance. Students can book one-to-one advice and guidance meetings. Parents and carers are welcome to attend. One-to-ones give students the opportunity to explore their options and where individualised action plans will be developed. There are weekly UCAS drop-in opportunities that run from September through to the January deadline. Every application is checked by a member of staff before it's sent to UCAS to ensure no errors have been made. Through the summer break, workshops are offered, which offer students help with researching HE institutions and courses, as well as help with the UCAS application process and personal statements. The curriculum areas invite Progression Plus teams into the classroom to run UCAS information sessions, and the team offers students the opportunity to get feedback on personal statements. They are also supported by local universities in this, who run personal statement clinics for our students, offering personalised feedback. Progression Plus organised an annual October HE fair with over 40 HE institutions attending from around the country. And students can speak to representatives and find out information about courses and what it's like to study at a higher level. Progression Plus also work very closely with students who wish to make priority applications. So that's for Oxford, Cambridge, medicine, dentistry and veterinary, to ensure that they are fully equipped to make the best competitive application and meet priority deadlines. They will continue to work with all students once their applications have been sent and will advise on offers they receive and will work with interview techniques and offer mock interviews for those students offered an interview. The support we offer, the events and deadlines are all promoted on social media, through the ACES programme and on display boards throughout the campuses. For our students in the audience tonight, please ensure that you keep up to date with all the information that is available to you. We very much encourage all our students to be independent learners in preparation for life after college. But parents, carers, please encourage your young people to take responsibility in seeking out and engaging with the support that is on offer to them. I will now hand over to my colleague Sally, who is going to speak to you about the importance of finding the right course.
Thanks, Carol. Next slide, please. So, as you can see on the slide that we're looking at today, there are a number of companies that can help you with looking at the right course for you. Making that decision as to the university that you want to study can seem like a momentous task for young people, especially when considering there are over 50,000 higher education courses available and 130 universities or higher education providers. If we go round the screen, I'll give you an overview. Sorry, can we go back? Lovely. UCAS will be your main site. That is the uni, college and admission service. You can also find information out on the uni guide, what uni and complete university guide, and prospects can give you an idea of what you can do with your degree, and they can also look at job profiles which can give you what is expected at the entry level for that particular job role, if you have a specific job role that you're looking at. You can also look at, I know that we've got University of Brighton on the screen, but you can also look at specific websites for the different universities that you may want to attend. If we can go to the next slide, please. So really it's thinking about what is important to you and what you're looking for in the course. So not all courses are the same. Some courses may have different modules. It's always worth checking that. The UCAS website has that information. Some courses can be accredited. And by that, I mean, if you're doing something like an HR course or a marketing course, then you could be getting an accreditation that will take you forward into your careers, something like your CIPD or CI Certificate of Marketing, if you're doing a marketing course. You may want to think about the lecturers and key staff that are delivering the courses that you're attending. And it's about what is important to you. If you have two courses that are very same or similar, then the assessment style may be something that would make the difference for you. Some can be quite exam-based. Others can be assessment style throughout your coursework. Institution and location can play a big part. The further north you go, obviously, things can be a lot cheaper up in the north. And so if you're looking at accommodation prices, that can have a big factor. And you may want to think about whether you would like to do a city or campus experience, because that can make all the difference. Obviously, league tables can help in this investigation. There are student satisfaction surveys and graduate prospects. They can go into financial support on league tables. But basically, league tables can give you all that information, but really it's worth going and having a look at the open events or attending any summer schools that you may go to. That will give you most of the experience that you need, and you can gauge whether you would be able to spend 3 years in that place. Next slide, please. Okay, so there is a raft of information available to you. If you look onto this slide, there is there's a little icon underneath the pink college sign that says Progression Plus. If you're going through via a phone or tablet, you may have to scroll over to the side because it doesn't evidently pop up. But if you go onto the Progression Plus icon, there is a raft of information on there about employment, university, and all sorts of different things. But some of the links that we've been speaking about will be on there as well. So now I'm going to hand you over to Karen.
Typical schoolboy error, sorry. The first thing I want to do is just show you a short video, which is 2 of our students, one a current student, another one a student who's studying media, and a student that studied with us before and what she's doing now. So it's just a couple of minutes of video just to give you a flavour of the higher education at the Chichester College Group.
Hello, my name is Bettina. I am currently doing my first year H&D Business and Management. My favorite thing about the course is that despite only being a few of us, we have managed to make really good friendships, and we help each other when one of us struggles. As I live in Chichester, I have wanted to study near my home, therefore it was more likely for me to continue my studies at college, where I have been for the past 3 years, where I feel familiar with everything. I believe that for a cheaper price compared to a university, it offers the same opportunities, if not more.
I chose to study at Chichester College due to the low student to lecturer ratio, so that means that you have a lot more class time and personal lecturing time with your teacher, so that you can have any questions that you might have answered quickly and effectively.
I think in terms of my career, the best thing that Chichester College did was it prepared me practically for things that I would never have been able to experience anywhere else, in terms of running a restaurant with the amazing facilities at Chichester. You just don't find them anywhere else. And I know because I've been to other places and there was just nothing that beats it. And the access to professionals from all kinds of walks of the industry was just something that at the time I didn't even realise how amazing that was.
I would highly recommend people to come and do the H&D courses offered by the college, as they will not only receive support from our amazing teachers, but they will make life-lasting friendships as well.
So advice I would give to someone starting off their sort of academic journey would be to give it your best shot. Don't be scared of the environment, don't be scared of the people you're going to meet. You know, everything happens for a reason, and I just think, you know, most of the higher education courses at the college are around 1 to 2 years. That time is going to pass either way, but in 1 to 2 years you could be doing something you love. So just give yourself the opportunity to be able to achieve that, and I'm sure you're more than capable of doing it. And if all of that goes great for you, then you can one day graduate at the cathedral, and I promise you it will be one of the best days of your life. It's still very, very much one of the best days of mine. So yeah, if you do choose the college, then I wish you all the best of luck.
Okay, so I hope that's sort of given you a flavour of some of our students' experiences of higher education at the college. Carol mentioned at the very beginning about some of the support that we've got available for you before you really, well, when you start thinking about applying for higher education, and that support is available for all our higher education students as well. So we do carry on that sort of pastoral and other academic support that we provide for our level 2, level 3 students. So the first thing I want to say is, you know, various reasons for choosing to study at CCG. One of them is the outstanding support. So we have academic support, we have support for you developing your employability skills. We also have HE coaches assigned to all of our higher education students, and they can then signpost our students who may be having problems in their personal life, for instance, to the range of support that's available throughout the college, such as our counselling service, our wellbeing team, and for things like financial support and housing support. We do have smaller class sizes, and a couple of our students did mention that. So most of our class sizes are about between sort of 8 and 12, which just means that our lecturers do have more time to spend with students sort of on one-to-one support, giving formative feedback and just supporting you with your academic study. Because we have smaller classes, then we have more contact hours, which means that you're in college having face-to-face lessons. You're not sat in a big lecture theatre with 200 other students. You're actually in a classroom. And as Bettina, one of our students, mentioned, our students do build long-lasting friendship groups. All of our lecturers are industry experienced. So most of the courses that we deliver are what we call vocational courses. So they're around getting you into industry and getting industry experience. And therefore our lecturers have worked in the industry, and also they have lots of contact within the industry. So you'll have lots of engagement with employers and working on case studies and real life work problems that employers are experiencing. And on that note, we have excellent employer links. So any course that you work on, we sometimes might deliver a cross-curricular 2 or 3 different curriculum areas. So we'll have a range of employers coming in. My colleague Leanne does a lot of work with students around employability and what we call graduate attributes. So they're the transferable skills that you can develop. And we have development days with employers. They come in and do assessment centres. We've had some of our students do assessment centres with local employers and have been offered a job with that employer when they finish their course. So it really is not only about your academic experience, but it's about developing you as a person and developing those sort of employee skills that employers are looking for. Which means that all of our courses are very career focused. So for instance, Bettina is doing business, and we mentioned the hospitality and travel and tourism, and we really are preparing you for careers within those industries. And perhaps one of the most important factors is most of our courses are the fees are lower than you would have to pay if you did a 3-year undergraduate degree at a university. So for instance, our higher nationals, our fees are 6,500, which compares to 9,250 a year at a university. So there's a whole range of reasons why you might want to think about coming to Chichester College Group. So if I can have the next slide. Before I go on and talk about some of the qualifications that we offer, this is a really good sort of graphic for you to see where the higher education at Chichester College Group fits with other levels. So if you're thinking about coming onto a higher education course, either with us or at university, we would expect you to have a level 3 qualification. So that includes apprenticeships at level 3 or a level 3 MVQ vocational qualification. We accept T levels, A levels, level 3 diplomas, so you may be following a level 3 BTEC course, and at level 3 we also have what we call access courses, which are for adult learners who maybe haven't got the level 3 qualification they need, and it prepares them for university. So the courses that we offer at higher education at Chichester College are, if you can just go back, I just wanted to talk about the level 4 5. So we do higher national certificates, which are level 4 qualifications. We do higher national diplomas, which are level 5. So you do, the first year is the HNC and the second year is HND. And we also offer foundation degrees, which are vocational qualifications, which is level 5. So the HND and the foundation degree are the equivalent to the first 2 years of a degree level. And then you can either go on perhaps and study a degree apprenticeship, or you can go on to university or stay with us to do what we call a degree top up, which means you get a full undergraduate level 6 qualification. Or you can choose to go then down the apprenticeship route if that's the route you want to take. So I'm ready to move on now. Thank you. So I'm not going to read out all of these, but I just really wanted to give you a flavour of the range of courses that you can study at one of our campuses. So obviously we've got our land-based college at Brinsbury, where we do animal management and food production. We've also just had a brand new furniture production foundation degree validated with the University of Chichester, which we're very excited about. And then across Chichester and Crawley, we do a range of courses in business and management. We do computing and digital, construction, engineering. And at Worthing, we have a foundation degree in sport, which is again validated by the University of Chichester. And if you complete the 2 years of study to get the level 5, then you can go on to the undergraduate degree, the level 6 top up at the University of Chichester, so that again you can get your full degree. And then we have some specific courses here at Chichester: hospitality, travel and tourism, performance and dance. And the dance foundation degree that we have here incorporates a professional qualification for teaching dance as well. So a whole range of things that you can do, which we're really excited about. So if you just move on. Okay, so I'm now going to hand you over to my colleague Amy, who's going to talk to you about application and personal statements.
That's perfect. Thank you, Carol. So my name's Amy and I work at the college's careers service known as Progression Plus. And I'm just going to talk you through the UCAS application process and personal statements. So to get started then, every year you'll have a deadline which you need to submit your UCAS application by. And the college sets an earlier deadline so that we can ensure that your reference is written and we can quality check your application before it's sent to the universities, so you can ensure it's the best standard it can possibly be. If you are applying for medicine, dentistry, Oxford, Cambridge or veterinary medicine, you will be considered a priority applicant and you'll have an earlier deadline of October the 1st. All other applications will need to be submitted by the college deadline of December the 1st to ensure that they meet the UCAS deadline on the 26th of January. But if you're sitting there today and you're thinking you'd still like to make an application for this September, you're absolutely not too late. You can still do that. So you can submit an application until June, although you would be considered a late applicant. And if you're looking to make an application for September 2023, then applications will open in May, and you'll have until December the 1st to complete your application as well. Thank you. So where do you apply? So you apply through the UCAS Hub. And as Sally mentioned earlier, that's where you can do all of your research to look at finding the most suitable courses for you. If you are making a priority application, you'll be able to apply for 4 courses and have 1 backup option. If you're making a standard application, you'll be able to make 5 course choices in total. And there is an admin fee as well for submitting your application. So the price you pay depends on how many choices you make. So as you can see on the screen here, if you make 1 choice, you would need to pay £22. And if you make use of all 5 choices, then your fee would be £26.50. But if you're in receipt of the Learning Support Grant, the college can refund that for you. Next slide, please. So just to summarise the UCAS application then for you. So as I mentioned, you would register and complete your application on the UCAS Hub, and there's lots of useful resources on there for you that can help you with your application. They will ask you to link to a college using a buzzword, so you can find that buzzword from your own college site. And then to complete your application, you have to fill in several different sections, which you can see on the screen here. So they are your personal details, your contact and residency, and your work experience. When we're talking about your education, we mean everything from your current course back to your GCSEs. Then we've got your nationality details and supporting information and your English language skills. If you're applying for student finance, so you're looking to obtain a student loan, you'll be course code 02 in the finance and funding section. Then there's a diversity and inclusion section and also your personal statement, which I'm going to touch on in a bit more detail on the next few slides for you. And then once all of that has been completed, you'll be able to submit your application. If it's linked to the college, it will come through to us. We'll double check it for you, attach your reference, and then we can send to the universities on your behalf. So just moving on then to think about personal statements. So as part of your UCAS application, you'll also have to write a personal statement, and that will be 4,000 characters with spaces and 47 lines long maximum. So it is quite specific in terms of what you need to achieve. And you can see the recommended structure for a personal statement on the screen here. And this comes from advice from the local universities that we work with. So each section on the screen represents a paragraph. So you can see that the first paragraph should be dedicated to your introduction. And this is where you state the subject that you would like to apply for and why you're looking to apply for that particular course. So this should be quite a short section. The main body of your personal statement should be dedicated to your current course. So they want you to talk about all of the knowledge and skills that you've gained from your current education and how that would then support you in your future studies. We'd also recommend that you talk about any research that you've completed or any further reading. Then the third section will be about your experience and skills. So if you have any part-time jobs, if you've done any volunteering or any work experience as part of your course, you can mention that in this section. And what we're looking for is for you to talk about all of the transferable skills that you've gained from that. And again, link that to how it would support you either in your future studies or in your future career. So it could be that you've developed things like communication skills or customer service skills, those sorts of things. Then the next section is about your hobbies and interests. So if you do anything outside of college, this is where you can talk about those individual things and add some kind of individuality to your statement as well. So maybe you do some sporting activities, in which case you could demonstrate things like leadership or teamwork, or it might be that you do some creative hobbies as well. So obviously you can draw upon different skills from that. And then the final paragraph should be relatively short as well, which should be dedicated to your conclusion, where you would summarise all of the key points that you've made throughout your personal statement and highlight why you would be a good suitable candidate for that particular course. So we would recommend drafting your personal statement and then getting some feedback on it to make sure it's as strong as it possibly can be. And that's definitely something that Progression Plus can help you with as well. Okay. So then just to summarise, all of the best personal statements should include lots of analysis. So the universities want you to not just describe something, but take it that one step further to explain the value of that experience and how that will support you in the future. They want to see lots of evidence and examples so that you can back up the statements that you're making, and they want you to reflect on your time at college and think about all of the, skills that you've gained and showcase the best things about you. So I'll just hand back to Sally now, and she can talk you through the student finance.
Thanks, Amy. So, next slide, please. Okay, so student finance is funded by the government, and it allows students from any financial background to go on to uni. There are two different types of loan. The tuition fee loan can be up to £9,250 a year, and this is something that you don't tend to see and is paid directly to the higher education provider. The maintenance loan helps with living costs and rent, but this is means tested for the family income. So the figures that we are showing on the system tonight are the maximum amounts that can be achieved, but you can also investigate this via the Student Finance England. They have a calculator there so that you can actually put in those the family costs, so that it gives you an idea of what you would expect each year, and then you can budget around that. So if you are going to be studying in London, I know it mentions about outside of London there is a slightly higher amount that you would be able to achieve because of the rental costs in London. I know that this sounds quite scary, but in the scheme of things, when you're actually paying your loan back, you don't actually pay that back until the April after your degree finishes. And whilst it seems a lot of money, the current rate that you have to be earning at the moment is £27,292. All the time you're earning less than that, you don't actually have to pay any of that loan back. When you do earn over that amount, the difference between what you're earning and the 27,292 is what you're paying back on. So it ends up being, if you're earning about £30,000, it ends up about £30 a month. Next slide, please. There is additional support that you can obtain with different bursaries and grants. This doesn't form part of the actual loan itself. These are one-off payments that you don't have to pay back. So alongside learning support grants, you can have the ability to apply for all of the grants on the screen. It's important to note that disability student allowance you do not automatically get that without applying for it, and you can get additional things that will help you to continue your daily studies. So it's always worth making sure that you apply for that. Next slide, please. So the student finance is on a .gov site. Please don't go to any other sites other than the .gov site, otherwise you'll be putting your financial information into something that you shouldn't. The student finance is currently open. There is a deadline of the end of May. It's only a deadline. You can still apply after that, but after that deadline, it can't be guaranteed that you will get your student finance when you actually need it. And that is to make sure that all the evidence from students and parents are given by that time so that they have enough time to process the application. It does remain open after the end of May, but there is no guarantee, although they do work hard to make sure that that can happen, to get the loan there when it needs to be. It's important to note as well that when you're actually applying, some students don't apply until the last minute because they don't know which university to put down. You can apply using your preferred choice, and it can be changed after that, but it is important to get in before that deadline. Okay, I think I've finished my part of student finance. On the screen there are different things that can help your application, but now I'm going to hand you back to Carol and invite you to ask any questions that you may have.
Thank you everyone for taking part and doing your presentation. I've just been having a look through the Q&A. I would encourage anybody who's got any questions to add them into the Q&A section, and we'll be happy to try and answer those for you, and be passing those on to the relevant expert. Amy, is there anything in particular that's come through that you think would be worth talking about live at the moment?
Let me just have a little look. So Grace says, how many universities can you apply to? So Grace, I can cover that for you actually. If you're making a priority application, so if you're studying or looking to study medicine, dentistry, veterinary medicine, or you're looking to apply to either Oxford or Cambridge, then you could make 4 choices and have 1 backup option. If you're looking to make a standard application for any other subject, then you can make a total of 5 university choices. So I hope that helps. Andy says, for students going into university in September 2023, is the loan deadline May 22 or May 23? So I don't know, Sally, if you want to answer that one.
Yep, no, that's not a problem. If you have already made an application to go into 2022, then you need to do your student finance this year. If you are then applying for the 2023, you need to apply by the deadline of May in 2023. So if you haven't already made an application into the for this year, then it will be the following year that you need to apply, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Okay, so this one might be for you, Amy. If you're trying to get into a competitive field of work, would it matter if you go to a Russell Group university?
So I would say, as Sally said earlier in the session, really, just to reiterate, there are several different factors I would say you need to consider when you're choosing the university that you want to study at. So if you feel that that's the right university for you in regards to having the right course, being the right campus, having the right modules, etc., then by all means, and it might be that you have a Russell Group University as one of your choices, but you could look at alternative universities for the remaining 3 or 4 other universities that you choose as one of your options. Because although you can apply to 5 universities in total, what we would usually say is it's sensible for you to vary your entry requirements ever so slightly. So have maybe 2 or 3 universities that you're very comfortable that you'll meet the entry requirements for. Have one aspirational target, and then have one backup option for if things don't go as you're expecting throughout your studies at college, and then that will give you the best possible chances of securing an offer moving forward.
Thank you, Amy. Claire has asked, will universities accept a deferred application for a gap year?
Yes, so on your application for UCAS, there will be a box that you can tick if you're looking to make a deferred application. So by all means, you can do that this year, and they'll be aware that you're making a deferred application. If you decide that you want to defer your application once it's been submitted, it would be a case of contacting the university directly to see if that would be a possibility for you.
Thank you. Hopefully, Claire, that answers your question for you. Just have a look. Right, so there's a question from Avita. So overseas students should pass their IELTS exam even if they study in a UK college. Amy, do you know the answer to that one?
I think it depends on the university as to what they're looking for. So if it is that you need to take an IELTS exam, then the college can definitely help you with that. But if you've studied in the UK and have a suitable qualification, then you might find it's not needed.
So probably the advice is to speak to the universities that you're interested in studying with. Yeah, okay. Let's have a look here. What else have we got? When generally are the university open days to start looking around? Sally, do you know the answer to that one?
Yes, I do. You can actually, if during the summer they haven't got necessarily open days open, you can, if you are in the area, contact them, and sometimes they will be able to accommodate you. So they can have open days during the summer. So it's worth taking a look at the websites for each university just to see if there's a specific university that you want to attend. They will cover all the open days within that.
I think one of the things from my point of view, advising students, the things that they find is hardest on their UCAS application is their personal statement and making the choices as to where they want to study. And I think this is where particularly parents and carers can really support their young people with regards to looking at the universities and what the sites are like and doing visits, because potentially they're going to be spending 3 years of their lives there. So I think have a look at the university pages. They will be starting to advertise their open days, and definitely try and get registered for one of those and do some visits. That would be great for them.
Yeah, it's really worth visiting, because what you might feel is going to be your first choice might not be once you've visited the area, because there might be certain things that you're not keen about over another university.
Yeah. So Peter has asked, if I have a first choice uni accepted and it comes to results day and I have done much better than my predicted grades, can I then apply for a course that is now in clearing? So I don't know, Leanne, are you looking to answer that one? Or does Amy want to answer that one?
I can do if Leanne's, yeah. So the difficult thing with that, Peter, would be that you would need to decline the offers that you have to enter into clearing. So it would be, I would say it would be risky to do that. Not to say that it's impossible. You could try if you wanted to, but it's bearing in mind that the course you've applied to might not be in clearing, and having to forfeit all of your other choices. So if you wanted support or advice with that, you could always contact Progression Plus for a more in-depth chat, by all means.
Thank you, Amy. I've got another one I think coming your way. So Alice is asking, how do we support the Oxbridge entrance exams, e.g. the MAT test?
So we offer support throughout the summer to help you get prepared for those admissions tests. So there'll be a series of sessions that you could join to help you explore the entry requirements and what might be expected of you, depending on your subject choice and what the admissions test might involve. We also do mock interviews for all students as well, whether you're a priority applicant or whether you're just making a standard application. So you can definitely make use of that support as well. So all the way throughout the process, there's lots and lots of support that you can access to help you feel more confident.
Thank you, Amy. Grace asked about UCAS points. Are they considered in an apprenticeship at a law firm? Certainly, to my knowledge, that within apprenticeships, UCAS points are not considered. So they might have their own application form, or it might be through the National Apprenticeship website application form that apprenticeships are dealt with, and it doesn't involve UCAS points.
If you've, just to say, if you've done an apprenticeship already and you're looking to make a university application, then it might be that you could obtain UCAS points from the apprenticeship that you've completed, depending on the qualification that you've achieved. So if that's the case as well, we can help you to identify whether you can get UCAS points from your apprenticeship and how many that might be.
Thank you. So Louise, if you want to go to university in September 2023, when do you need to apply? So that will come into the applications that will open in May for the September 2023 intake. So you've got a little while yet before you have to make your application for that one. Then somebody said, is it possible that elite apprenticeships require an extra exam? I'm not entirely sure what you mean by an extra exam. I mean, depending on the apprenticeship and what level apprenticeship, there might be quite a lot of assessments to actually get that apprenticeship, but that will be between the sort of training provider doing the training and the actual employer themselves. So that I'm not aware of any extra exams required for an apprenticeship, but it might be part of the recruitment process that there will be assessments and a number of interviews involved. Okay, Amy, this might be you as well. What is a Russell Group uni?
So they are considered as, you know, a competitive university that you might like to apply to, and they're usually ranked particularly highly for certain subject areas.
Yeah, I can't remember how many there are of them. Is it about 20 Russell groups?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact figures off the top of my head, sorry.
Obviously you're down as an anonymous attendee, so if you just Google Russell Group universities, it will come up with a list of who they are. They normally have probably higher entry requirements for their courses, but again, if you want to have a look online, they can provide you with information, or as a student, then you can arrange an interview with Progression Plus. Just seeing if there's any others.
Carol, can I ask a question that's come through? Sorry, there's a couple of things really. Someone's asked about applications for Chichester College Group and if it's too late.
Yeah.
I can probably answer that, to be honest, myself. So no, it isn't too late to apply, and that's often a misconception. Although there is a deadline of the end of January, that's to ensure you're guaranteed to be considered for any university that you apply to. They will accept applications all year. In particular, we're quite fortunate because we do tend to have much smaller class sizes. We can look at applications like throughout the year. So if you haven't yet applied, you know, don't delay, but you're certainly not too late. And if you want any help at all, you're welcome to talk to any of the Progression Plus teams or the HE team. And also as well, quite a few people are asking about the May deadline as well for student finance. So if I can just clarify, you can apply for student finance up until the start of the course. Most applications take about 6 weeks to process. The Student Finance England suggests that if you apply by the end of May, then they'll guarantee everything, and as long as you supply the evidence, they'll guarantee that your loan and any financial support will be in place for the start of the year. You don't have to apply by then. It just means that once you start college, there might be a slight delay in funding. And for this year, you can apply now. If you want to go to university or study a higher education course with us next September, so September 2023, applications for student finance generally will open around February or March next year. So I hope that just kind of clarifies that. There was quite a few questions coming in on that topic.
Thank you, Leanne. And somebody's asked, is it only your first choice that you can get assured student accommodation? I don't know who's going to be best to answer that. Amy, do you know much about the accommodation side to answer that one?
A little bit. So usually if it's your first choice university, they can or will guarantee you a place at that accommodation. But by all means, contact the university directly, find out what their kind of individual policy and procedure is with that. And obviously, if you go to the open day, that's a really good opportunity for you to kind of explore that a little bit further as well.
Thank you. And then if somebody's asked, if I don't get enough UCAS points, is a foundation course a good option?
Yes, absolutely. So if I can just clarify, a foundation course is essentially an extra year at university. So they often have lower entry requirements where you'll be able to develop those kind of academic skills to prepare you for the degree in future. So if you're concerned about not having enough entry points, then by all means you could have a look at a foundation option. If you wanted to go to university, for example, September 2022, or we could look at alternative ways that you might be able to boost your UCAS points as well. So lots of different options that you could consider. And if you wanted some help with that, again, you can contact Progression Plus and we can go through that with you on an individual basis.
I'll just come in on that if that's okay as well. Obviously, if you're generally our HE courses at Chichester College, have slightly lower entry requirements for some of the higher nationals. So I think if you're disappointed, we have open days or results days, and you can come in and chat to some of our sort of course teams to see if there's anything that perhaps we could offer you. Because if you do, obviously, if you do the foundation year, you're going to do 4 years of study and you'll use up all your student finance, and there could be better options around a level 4, level 5 type qualification that you might want to consider that you haven't thought about before. So I just would advise that if you get lower than anticipated grades, that you come in and have a chat to Amy and her Progression Plus team, or some of our HE team here at the college.
Thank you, Karen. Then I think we've got one sort of final question. Do you have to stay in accommodation within the first year of uni? Because the person asking says some say you do, but I'm not sure if the choice is flexible. I think really you need to talk to the universities concerned. I know some universities locally, you can stay off site and you don't have to be in halls of residence. So I would say discuss it with the university concerned and see what they advise. Thank you. There's been a lot of questions this evening. As I said, the session has been recorded, so hopefully you found it useful, and all the information and resources will be sent out in a link to you so you can reflect on that. Contact details are on the screen at the bottom for the different campuses. Thank you for joining in and for joining us this evening, and hope you have a very pleasant rest of your evening.